You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV Survivor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Survivor After Show.
Hey guys, Bing is for doing, and we're doing another season of Survivor.
Back, everybody.
We are so excited to be back. I am Justin Walter with my amazing co-hosts,
Jerri Manthy.
Ryan Allen Carrillo, good to be back.
and we have been waiting for the season premiere of Survivor Season 27.
Wow.
27, Blood versus Water, and we are going to discuss everything about the first episode, Blood. I mean, blood is thicker than water, which who knows if it actually will be for the rest of the season. But we are so excited for our fans to be involved with us this season. You can tweet us at any time. You can call in and ask us any questions or get in on the conversation. So
We should probably say when our normal time is going to be.
yes, this is a special time we're doing the premiere because last night Ryan was at the Big Brother
Finale.
Getting lots of
And
gossip.
tonight's my party, so
And
if you're in LA,
he has a party for Big Brother tonight.
check it out.
Come check it out in LA. And our normal night is going to be Wednesday nights on. We're going to do it after the West Coast airing. So we'll
Correct.
watch it at 8 p.m. on the West Coast and
9
then go
p.m.
live at 9 p.m., which is midnight on
Midnight
the
in
East
New
Coast.
York.
Stay
is.
up for us. And then in the Midwest, where most of our viewers or fans probably are at 11 p.m. and then
Right.
West Coast. So
it's fun for us to watch it together, though.
so it's so much fun for us to watch together.
we
and
scream at the TV.
we do
Yeah.
scream it. Maybe we'll have to show some of that this year.
And I
Yeah.
like that we're doing it now based on the West Coast feed because
Yes.
now our West Coast people can actually watch us and not get spoiled.
Love
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And one thing we're doing this year, as you noticed, we have 3 hosts. We're going to be the regular hosts for the season. Then we're going to rotate in former Survivor contestants and guest hosts throughout the season. And already next week, we have Christina Cha, who was on Survivor One World, and she's going to have a lot to say about Monica Culpepper, Colton, and Kat being back. She was on their
Yeah.
season, so
Let's
we're
hope.
excited for that. Let's hope.
Oh, she's going to have lots
Christina,
to
you have
say.
a week to get info for us. And I know she went to the premiere party at Eris, had a premiere party last night, so she'll have info from that as well.
Is it Eris or
Aris.
Aris?
He said either way.
Yeah, I can never remember.
Who cares?
Oh, I
So-
love
Kidding.
Aris.
No, he's so
Overall
cute.
thoughts, guys, on this season. I'm so excited for this season.
I will say this. I thought the first episode was one of the first episodes, the best first episodes in a while. Because we've talked about this a bunch of times that it's kind of boring in the beginning for a
Yeah.
while. I thought it was kind of exciting.
I think it
loved
also helps that we know everybody, and then we also have the added element of their family member. And I'm stoked about this because obviously this has never been done before, but it's also really exciting to bring in another element, another layer that affects people's gameplay
Right.
and their personal choices.
there
like,
are
it's
so many layers.
So
There is.
crazy.
And it's really going to get really crazy. Like we know it's going to get crazy.
And I
Yeah.
think the first, obviously the title is Blood is Thicker Than
Blood
Water.
versus water.
I think in the long run, the family ties and lines are not going to stay. In
Oh, I
terms
think
of
they
that.
will.
We'll see.
I really think they will.
know.
I just think that what happened last night was
So let's jump into it. One
annoying.
thing that Survivor has never done in Survivor history is have a day zero. Day zero on this season was where they put all the loved ones and their returning family members
Right.
on the beach in the island together for a night to spend together to try and trick them that they were going to actually be playing the game together as a duo
Right.
and maybe on the same tribe.
It wasn't even trick them because they were all told by production. I know this that they were going to be competing together.
Okay.
It was very clear because some of the returning players only wanted to go on again. They're like, I would only go if my daughter's coming or my boyfriend or whatever it is. That's why they went because CBS
Wow.
guaranteed them and told them they were going to be competing together.
I love that they split them up.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming. I really didn't. Because I actually got a phone call to go.
To go?
But, yeah, because people have been like, why weren't you on there? Don't you have any loved ones? You know,
No, she
you know,
has
screw
not.
you
Jerri
guys
lives
for thinking
alone.
that.
She has no husband.
We're the only people that love you.
Yeah.
You have to bring both
I
of
would
us.
have gone
screwed.
with you, Jerry.
I know you would have.
Oh,
we
in
would
a
have kicked
second.
butt. But no, my sister was pregnant, and my husband has a real job that he can't leave behind. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Seeing the first episode, do you think you would have wanted to be on this season or take a pass?
You know, it's kind of a double-edged sword because I've thought about this. Like, it could either really bring family members super close together, maybe, tie the bonds a little bit tighter, or it could completely destroy a relationship, especially those that aren't actual family members, like husband, wife,
I think
boyfriend,
the opposite.
girlfriend.
I think it's easier to be angry because like there's a dynamic with brothers and sisters or your daughter where it's sort of like visceral and you fight with your family members. But like I think with your husband or your significant other, like because you love them in a different way. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting, and I think in the first episode, obviously on day one, they get to the beach and they arrive as the couples and as the duos, and then immediately Jeff splits them up into the different tribes, returnees versus the family members. Next twist is immediately they have to vote someone off.
That was the part I hated the most.
I didn't like that
They did that on Amazing Race one year, and I hated that too.
I mean, a couple things about this is one thing that our viewers, our fans, is Candace. I don't know if you read this. RC and her father were supposed to be on this season. They got to the island. RC's father could not medically be cleared for the show while he was on the island. So what happened was within 24 hours, Candace and her husband, John, were flown out to play the game. So all these people have been prepping for the season. And I'm sure Candace, they had to have been a part of the process.
Right.
But then they get there. There's talks of pre-alliances before the game, so immediately Candace and her husband are probably at a disadvantage in coming in late.
I wondered about that because also they targeted Laura. And I know that the whole pre-game alliance thing has become kind of a trend with the seasons, and I don't really know how I feel about that. But
you hate it. We all hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
As a fan, to know that the returning players in the casting process are in touch with each other, making pre-alliances, I hate that.
But if you were on the show, you would do the same thing.
100%.
Of course. But as
You
a
kinda
fan,
have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're on the outs.
Yeah, and
But can we also talk about how hot John is? Candace is?
Holy crap. Yeah.
It's like they should have picked him from the start. It seems like fans love him.
Yeah, he's a hottie.
I'm so happy to see her and him together because she actually postponed their wedding to be on Heroes versus Villains. So to see them together.
They're Ken and Barbie, basically.
The beautiful
They
couple.
are.
They're a beautiful couple, and they're smart. They're both doctors, so that's awesome.
They got money.
Yeah, so Laura, her tribe basically unanimously voted her off. So clearly people were talking to target Rupert and Rupert's wife before or at some point.
Right.
And then obviously Candace, it was between Candace and Laura, which...
Why Laura? I love Laura.
There's got to be pre-alliances, and I think it's probably old school versus new school.
Right.
And
You think so?
I read an article, or I've been looking on Twitter, and Dalton Ross says he thinks from his pregame interviews, Aris, Tina, and Jervis have a pre-alliance going into the game because in all their interviews they were talking about, I hope to play with X, Y, and Z, and it would make sense that the newer school people are teaming up versus the older school. So we'll see how that plays out. Next twist, those two are voted off, and Jeff reveals that they're not out of the game. Redemption Island is coming back. So it's twist after twist after twist.
Yeah.
It's like
it's only been 10
if
minutes.
this is your first Survivor season, you're going to be confused.
Yeah, I was confused watching it, but I was live tweeting, so I couldn't rewind and rewatch.
Do you know what was confusing to me too? And maybe I just wasn't paying attention because I was, getting ready. Is that because Rupert switched.
Yeah. So that was the option. One of the twists was
Go into that, and then I'll.
one of the twists is okay. These people are on Redemption Island, and then another twist is before they go to Redemption Island or before the Redemption Island challenge in future episodes, your loved one has the opportunity to switch spots with you.
Right.
So immediately Rupert jumps forward.
Right.
As he's going to take Laura's spot on Redemption Island,
Which was an endearing part. Jerri has such love for Rupert.
I can't.
You have such a history with Rupert.
I have to say, I could see right through it.
What do you see?
I'm
gonna be the hero.
To me,
You do a good Rupert voice.
Jeff didn't even finish the sentence. He jumped out. I mean, clearly he's like a.
Well, here's my thing. Out of the entire cast, if I had to pick two people to go to Redemption Island right away, I would have picked Candace and Rupert. I was jumping up and down because it pisses me off that some players get to play so many times. Rupert, this is his 4th time.
Right.
If he didn't switch with his wife after playing for 3 times,
You're an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
So he had to switch. What husband is gonna, even if it's strategically better for him to stay on the tribe, what husband would say, I've already played 3 times, you can't play? I think that would have been
awful.
the most dick
So what did you
move.
think of John when John didn't switch?
Well, I thought that it was great because I think Candace is in the same position. If Candace would have said, switch with me, you've played 2 times before. Give your loved one the chance to play the game that you've already played 2 or 3 times.
Well, I also like the fact that she's like, I can beat Rupert and easy.
Did you get that part in the this is what I was going to mention, is that every time someone goes to Redemption Island, that the loved one has an opportunity to switch with them anytime.
Yes.
Every time.
At any time?
No, when that happens.
Oh, wow.
So when they go watch Redemption Island.
No, when they
I'm not
get
sure
sent
when it's
to
going to happen,
Redemption
but when
Island.
they go, like, they immediately have the option
to switch.
Their loved one can switch with
Yes.
them. They would leave their tribe and go, and then that
This
person
is what
would
I didn't
swap
understand,
over.
and we'll find out next week. Can you switch back? Like, so let's say
I can't
I don't
imagine
think
you would.
so.
So it's, if you do the one switch, that's it. You're on Redemption Island.
You're on Redemption
Yeah,
Island, and then you have to
otherwise
fight your way back.
it would, it would be a little bit weird.
So already, I mean, in the beginning, the first 10 minutes, there's all this drama, all of this like new rules.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Everybody's head is
what did you
spinning.
think in terms of Candace not switching with her husband? You know, if your husband, you would be in the same position, Jerry. If your husband were out there, you were voted off first, would you have expected your husband to switch with you?
I wouldn't expect anything. I think what I saw between the two of them was a conversation where they agreed to let her go. And I think that probably would have been the same move I would have been.
Candace should have said more forcefully, I've already played this game, Abe.
Yeah,
You go.
she may have said that and we didn't see
they
it.
didn't show
Because
it,
if you would have made your husband switch with you, Jerry, you're done on the show. You're no longer a host on our show.
Whatever.
But, you know. And then, so then Laura, the one thing that's obviously, Laura is now on the tribe with all the returnees. Basically, strategically, she's probably a sitting duck.
Well, the thing is, too, just to go back for 2 seconds, it is just devastating that the vote happens so quick because, like, you spend all this time prepping to be on the show and, like, physically, mentally, and everything else, and you get there, and before you even start, your game's pretty much already
Rupert's
over.
pissed. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched it to the very end and you saw, like, the little
he's not pleased.
snippet at the end. He's already growling and, you know, being
Well, I
lazy.
read somewhere online, I don't know if you can confirm this, that Rupert, there were, like, rumors or something that Rupert thinks that they brought him back to boost ratings.
No, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he literally said that to somebody. Like, I know they brought me back because I'm a popular player.
Well,
now,
I'm
here's
sure
the
he
thing.
said that.
What I do like about doing this show with you guys the day after the show is that I actually got to watch all the secret scenes. And there's this great scene where they interview Laura, Rupert's wife, and she goes on and refers to him as the king of Survivor, the all-time Survivor winner, America's sweetheart, which I just, I was like,
Maybe you
okay.
should log on and look at those things.
No, clearly she's in the same delusional world that Rupert is in.
That's why they're married.
Yeah, they've got to like support each
they're
other in
perfect for each
delusional, existence.
They do seem like a good couple.
They do.
And if I have to see them kiss anymore, I'm gonna vomit. I'm not kidding.
I
Your
actually heard that
season-
they show them having sex this season.
Oh, stop.
You're trying to make me
your
have an
season is
aneurysm
when
over here.
Rupert like made out hardcore
Oh,
on
it's
Heroes and Villains.
Disgusting. It was so disgusting. I was like, really, dude?
So one comment though I think that irked you was so Rupert switched right away and Tina, who Jerry has played the game twice with in Australia and on the first All-Star season when Tina went from winner to the first person voted off. She was mad at Rupert for switching because they needed him to build shelter.
I was screaming at that too.
I was blowing my Twitter up, boy. Let me tell you, I was like, what? Okay, she was not there, in her defense. She was not there when the shelter that he built, that I said was a bad idea, crumbled on top of all of us as we got out of it at the last second before we were killed in a storm. Like, no, he is not a good shelter builder.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have been different this season because maybe he actually learned something. But from what I know of him,
Well, even they showed it. He's pretty lazy at Redemption Island. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
But that's strategy. So, I read again that Candace hates Rupert. I didn't know that.
No. I was there. I was on the beach with Candace and Rupert
She
in
hates
Heroes
Rupert.
and Villains, and we all were just completely sick of Rupert because he would keep us up all night long while he smashed logs on the ground and chopped wood and broke sticks and like pounded around, while we're all trying to sleep. So she has a lot of reasons to not
Well, who
like
likes
him.
him?
He's got
Not
his
many.
fans.
Nobody that has played with him.
Sorry, I don't.
Correct.
Not a big
The
fan.
fans, yes,
Yeah.
but I'm saying the other survivors,
Oh.
he doesn't really have a full.
No, which is why I don't understand why they didn't vote for him first instead of Candace. It was
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I think part of it's probably Candace because she came in so late. I
That's
would
totally
say
why
that's
it
got to
was.
be it. There's
God,
got to
that
be.
sucks.
There's got to be
Why not
alliances.
Colton? Why not
So
Colton?
let's jump into the more of the other players. So Colton is back, and one of the things that Colton in the first couple sequences is He's all
Crying.
about making a new name and image for himself, which right away when he said that, I thought of you, Jerri, because I remember last season you talking about how the second time you went on to play Survivor, you had the agenda of making America like you.
Yeah,
Correct.
it doesn't work. It is a waste of time. Do not go back and do Survivor unless you're going there to win. You
Right.
have no control over what people think of you, and chances are you probably are exactly the same person you were the first time. So just accept it and move forward.
I agree with you with your character and how you were portrayed and all that kind of stuff. But with him, when you have like the races tied to you, I think you, no matter what, you're gonna try to like not have that attached to you because that is just a
So
bad.
we'll see if
stigma.
Erin, when she comes back on Big Brother in the future, what she does.
They're gonna do. Amazing
No, Erin's
They're
gonna
gonna do
come-
Amazing Race together. Colton and
Oh,
Erin.
I don't know who Aaron is.
so Colton.
Someone else is
on
racist.
Big Brother.
moving just a little bit forward, it's funny because he basically Colton's crying in terms of talking about his coming out and his
I
family.
didn't see
and
any
his
tears.
crocodile tears. But then we
That
already
seemed sincere to me.
It did seem sincere.
I was a little emotional.
Is
there,
it part
too.
strategy? Maybe, but then also we see already in a preview for next week that Colton goes back to his old ways.
No,
Yeah.
I mean you just never know how
We'll see.
how the producers are gonna
Yeah.
portray you and everything else. But I would say that like he obviously is very fragile this season. Like he's very very emotional, which means like to me that seems genuine. You just don't cry for no
Well,
reason.
I did say somewhere, and it might have been on Twitter, I can't remember, but
I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
when you're
we'll get to
damaged,
that.
you should not do Survivor, period. And clearly that first experience for him was very damaging. And for him to go back, it's only going to get worse. It's not going
Yeah.
to get better because that damage is still there.
Yeah.
And now you are in the most vulnerable place you'll ever be in your whole life.
And one thing I was going to say that in terms of Colton is his fiance, I think is one of the best players or will be one of the best players
He's a
this
sweetheart.
season.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see them as a couple. And there's got to be something about Colton if he's
Right.
going to marry Caleb.
Correct.
And it's kind of interesting that he's, in my mind, one of the front runners on the loved one side for this game.
Right.
And it's interesting for me to see that dynamic.
Well, Colton actually called me on the way here
Oh.
and wanted to like just hash, because
Hi, Colton.
Hi, Colton.
Hey, Colton.
We'll have him call in if and when he gets voted out.
Yeah, because his thing, and like I tried to say this earlier, is that he had no desire to ever do Survivor again.
Okay.
And like
Then he
the
shouldn't have.
producers really, really courted him and said that it's a family thing, and Caleb's gonna be with you. And he's like, the only way I'll do it is if I'm with Caleb. So he
Wow.
went there with his support, and then that fell apart right away. And I'd also say for the One World cast, because he was One World, is that. Even when they were back at their tribe, remember they were one world, so they were all
Yes.
together. So he even thought, he didn't really understand.
world.
He thought that, he'd still be able to see Caleb at night. He'd be right there. They'd be
Does
able
he
to sleep
not
at the
watch
same
Survivor?
tent. No, he did, but I just think that because that was his experience on the
Interesting.
show.
Yeah.
And, Monica thought the same thing, and so did Kat. They all thought, because that was their experience
Yeah.
on Survivor. They had forgotten, you're
Yeah.
miles
They forgot
away.
that Jeff Probst can throw a wrench in your plan at any given moment.
Correct.
Because that's so unusual.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Culpeppers. Monica's coming out guns blazing, it seems. And one thing that she's already talking to Colton about, can I trust you and have an alliance with you? Tyson's right there. They're in the middle of camp. I was like, this is seems a little
staged.
reckless or
Yeah.
staged. Her husband, he goes, to his tribe and
Can't do
right
math.
away
He-
cannot do math.
He's a little out of control.
Yeah.
He's so aggressive.
He's sticking his neck
right
out.
away, creating an all-male alliance, the 5 males on the tribe,
Which I hate.
which it was one thing I tweeted was, oh, shocker, Hayden from Big Brother is in an all-male alliance again.
Right. From the beginning.
Because that's from the beginning on Big Brother, he went to the end with all males,
He's just so aggro from the start. That's just never a good sign.
No.
But he got so much airtime, and his alliance in the end did work. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But he'll be the first one to go out of that alliance, or he'll be the first one that people will turn
Right.
on. And in terms of him, Monica, they'll definitely
He's the only
be
one
viewed as a
giving any
threat.
sort of like, actions. It's kind of boring. Like, no
Yes.
one, you know what I mean?
The one thing that I think that's interesting on the loved one tribe that I was kind of irked about is they cast loved ones, the males, all pretty interesting, strong characters.
Right.
The females, to me, are duds.
Yeah.
The females are duds on
Right.
the loved one tribes, and I
Duds
wish
for television.
For
I mean, not in real
television,
life,
yeah. Like Tina's daughter, I wish had more of like, well, maybe we'll see something. And
Watch the secret scenes. Honestly, there's
right.
a whole interview with Tina and her daughter, and it really,
their interviews together were amazing.
it
I
really
watched
made
those.
me like her more than I did on the first episode.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you, but you you know this in casting too, that sometimes like you could be with your partner and you're really, really great on camera and can give it, but when you're by yourself, like it just falls flat sometimes.
And Rachel Tyson's girlfriend seems like she's just gonna float. I mean, we'll see, but it's like seems like a floater, and
she always looks like she's gonna cry.
Yeah, and the thing that was interesting too was this was one of the first episodes where I really felt like Survivor really dug into sob stories and personal stories right away.
I absolutely love that they got very personal this season, because I think that that's what's been missing every other season since the beginning. Like that's what they really got into at the beginning of Survivor.
It takes a long time before you even like bond with somebody, and like it makes you like care for them right away. Even like Colton, even if you don't really like Colton, but like the moments with like Caleb was interacting with from the side, it was like cute, and like it just, I liked all that sort of stuff.
And I think shout out to Lynn Spillman, you know. Hi, Lynn.
Kiss ass.
But I think she did a great job on finding loved ones with interesting stories, and I think that's why some people were cast. I read that Laura was basically cast because she brings her daughter, who's a teen mom, and that's a really fascinating story, having a mother and a teen mom and a grandmother in that story. Aris's brother, a former heroin addict and drug addict, and even just the dynamic between the two of them. Like my brother, we're really competitive together. So it's not this brother duo that is going to be...
And they have some issues with each other, too.
Yeah, which is, I think, really interesting.
There's always the perfect one, and like
they're still competitive, too.
I love it. I love it.
And also...
Hope he beats his ass.
On CBS.com, the secret scene with Aris is really good, too.
Like, I think those two are going to do so well this season.
I think so, too.
I think Aris, in terms of, even though he was one of the most under radar winners and just kind of even keel in his season on Exile Island, he's such a personable person. He's so likable, and his brother seems exactly the same. In one of his interviews, he said, "I want to be the male version of Parvati."
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that'll
flirt his
wait, who said that?
Vitas.
Really?
Yeah, he says it won't hurt. You know, I'll do my flirting with the women, and you know, I'll be the male version of Parvati.
Well, Jeff put Aris down as number 2 for his pick to.
Who's number 1?
Hayden.
Hayden, no way.
No way.
That's what he put.
Way.
No.
Jeff Probst, I usually agree with you. I disagree big time on that.
Wait. Jeff Probst is not allowed to say who he thinks is going to do
They did
good.
predictions. Before they started filming, there's a full thing on Entertainment Weekly of him breaking it down.
That's total insider trading if it wasn't.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I was only there and saw it and actually know who wins already, but I'm going to pick who I think should win.
Yeah, in terms of some of the other returnees we haven't talked about, any stick out in your mind as people that you're excited to see back, or that just kind of are... Meh?
I'm actually really happy to see Tina back.
Who doesn't love Tina?
Well, I didn't love her when I had to play with her back in the day.
Correct.
You know, we had a lot of bad blood between us, and I think because we both been through so much in our lives and we've had the chance to reconnect like we actually did when we were down in Orlando.
Right.
I'm really happy to see her back, and I had no idea that she'd been through some of the same stuff that I'd been through, so she kind of relates to me now, and I just feel
Well, that's what
happens.
happens.
Closer to her.
Once some years pass, you sit down and have a couple cocktails in a tropical setting. I mean, the world just comes together.
We didn't have any cocktails.
I hate all my former cast members, but I've never had that opportunity to hang out with them.
No, we held an alligator. We didn't really have cocktails.
Survivor Australia for me, and I hope I don't sound like a stalker, Jerry.
Survivor
Australia is when I just fell in love with Survivor Australia. And Tina, I loved her back then, and 13 years later to see her again and see that she's so still sharp and quick-witted and going to be strategic. I am rooting for her so much this season.
She's super competitive. I saw her playing ping pong in Orlando. She was just destroying people and like getting all crazy.
I would love to see her pull off a Sandra and win another title. Tina, you can do it.
You know what? That would be interesting just because then Sandra would, she wouldn't be able to call herself the queen of Survivor anymore.
Queens.
Yeah. Not enough room for 2 queens.
There's only one throne, baby.
Yeah. What about Tyson being back for, this is his 3rd time now?
Not really that excited.
Not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really that.
I was really stoked about Jervis. I'm not going to lie. I was like, season 1 player. Oh my God, Jervis. I mean, I met Jervis when I did Australia, and I was super excited to meet him. But man, I got to say his attitude last night after, first of all, almost dying during the challenge, and then jumping up and down. I really, really disappointed in you, Jervis. That's like so season 1.
I have a tweet I'll read later, but like.
Yeah. So one thing we're gonna do this season is we have we're gonna do a couple of little like segments during our show, and one of them is going to be What is it called, Ryan?
Ryan's Twitter tea.
Twitter tea, where he's gonna spill some gossip off of
Some
based
tea,
off
some
Twitter.
good tea.
I never knew
Tea?
tea was the term for gossip.
Is it?
Don't you ever watch Wendy Williams? Have you ever
Yeah.
seen
No.
any? Have you ever turned on a television besides Survivor and Big Brother?
No.
I love Wendy Williams. I want to do her show.
I
one
love
day.
Wendy Williams.
She's
I
like my
want shoe
fave.
cam.
And then where Jerry's gonna put in her 2 cents every show, where she's gonna put in her 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm
We're
gonna throw in my 2 cents.
gonna
The
have
good, the
games
bad,
and
the
stuff, too. I'm
ugly.
gonna
We're gonna do some games. It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be fun.
do some things I'm gonna call Stump the Host. I'm gonna
Ooh.
like try to get you guys.
I love it.
Jerry's good, bad, and the ugly.
I'm gonna pick a moment of the week every week that I think is the move of the week.
We also discussed that we need to do our fantasy. We really
Yes.
should probably do by
We'll
next
draft.
week. We'll draft. We'll pick who we think is gonna win.
Do some betting.
Yeah.
And actually hold
there needs
ourselves
to-
accountable.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
needs-
like trying to pick who's gonna win.
We don't need to hear what you want to do. You're already out.
I'll just watch you guys pick,
Okay,
and then I'll make fun of you when you're wrong.
Okay, that's not happening. We are a family.
So let's talk a little bit about the first immunity challenge. You know,
Looks fun.
Bringing back some water challenges, and what I loved, I found that was so interesting and fascinating was when they got the tree mail. They read the tree mail, obviously, on both tribes, and the loved ones, you know, when it comes to doing the puzzle, it's going to be split up between athletic stuff where you're swimming,
Right.
and then you're rowing, and then someone does the puzzle. So the daughters are, my mom's going to do the puzzle, my mom's going to do the puzzle. Let's
Very
do
confident,
the puzzle,
very confident.
and we will kick our mom's butts. They were so confident. I think it's Katie, and I don't know, how do you say it? Is it Sierra? I can't. Laura's daughter. It's.
I thought it was Sierra.
Ciera. Is that Sarah?
We'll just say
Sierra.
Sierra. We'll check that out. So they said, you know, we'll do the puzzles, and then they go to the returnees tribe, and then you see Tina and Laura. My daughter knows I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do the puzzle. We're gonna take our daughters down. It was a fun dynamic for
Yeah.
like, and just in terms of that, you know.
It was. It's too bad it wasn't closer.
Yeah. So, you know, we get to the immunity challenge. They divide who's going to do what. And the first part is where the loved ones swim in the water, go over and under obstacles.
Right.
And they are beating the returnees.
Kicking their
Kicking
ass.
their ass.
They had great teamwork.
Great
They
teamwork.
worked so great together.
They were really helping each other over
Yeah.
the challenges and just great teamwork together. And they got to the boat first. They got rowing really well together and just went straight to the beach to bring the puzzle pieces back to the beach. The returnees. What?
No,
I'll tell you what happened. I'm an expert at watercraft because on my show, all we did is all we did is go on the raft constantly. We were like down rivers and everything else. Aris was in the back. He didn't even have his paddle.
He was doing terrible.
The guy in the back controls where you're going.
Aris?
The guy's paddling.
I would think Aris would be good at
he didn't even
stuff
have
like
the
that.
paddle in the water.
Colton not even rowing. Kat yelling at Colton,
Jervis
row.
looked like he was still going to
Jervis
die.
could not swim for his life and had
At all.
Aris drag him to everything, push him over, you know, obstacles, and he looked so old, out of shape. And it was just like, it was almost reminiscent of Colby coming back to Heroes and Villains. You had this idea of who these players are, and they're these strong men, and then when they come back when they're older, they
But
kind of
Jervis could never swim.
yeah.
It was in the first season he couldn't swim in that
Don't you
season either.
think?
13 years, you learn how to
Combat
swim.
Jesus.
Yeah, he probably thought, I'll never have to do that again.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. No, and if you watch The Secret Scene on CBS, they've got a great interview with Jervis too, because he breaks down like his whole philosophy on how he's going to play this game different, and it sounds so great. And then he throws in the comment, I didn't know how to swim. I still don't know how to swim.
Which
like-
that just doesn't make
when
any
you
sense to
start
me.
getting casted again,
You
you
know.
go get swimming lessons.
Especially after.
I think it's a little too late at that point.
Well, and it's really harder as a former swimming instructor.
talk about last season,
It's
how much
harder
they
for
were
people
in-
to learn as adults.
How much were they in the water last season? Like, if you would I would be panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the returning players had it was a mess to get their boat back.
Oh wait, what was that whole thing between Colton
And
and
Kat.
Kat? Like Colton
Yeah.
said to her, "Row, or I'm gonna shove this paddle up your ass." And
because
she
Kat was
was
like,
like,
Colton,
smack-
get your paddle in the water and start rowing.
and she goes, "Oh hell no!" That was my favorite moment.
That was
awesome.
really, really funny.
It was awesome. It was great.
I was like, "Kat, if that would have been me, I would have."
Yeah. So Tina's daughter, Katie, Laura's daughter, Sierra, and Colton's fiance, Caleb, are doing the puzzle. It's basically where you have to put these pieces together to form a wheel and then do a puzzle wheel. And then you turn the wheel and your flag is going to be released and you're going to win immunity. They had a huge lead, or a very big lead. We don't really know how long because of editing. And then I loved that it was the returning Cougars who were doing the puzzle. And in Survivor, I'm guilty for loving the older women in Survivor. You have Laura, Monica Culpepper, and Tina doing the puzzle, and they just demolished
They did.
their
They
daughters.
made up all the time. It was crazy.
It looked like they had done that puzzle like every night at game night for the last
So
year.
it is a question of Jerri returning experience. It's always a question of how much does experience play a role in these
In a puzzle?
challenges, in a puzzle challenge, that sort of thing.
I don't think that's anything to do with returning or not. I think that's just, being cool and calm and being able to troubleshoot.
But I think that's the issue, though. Like,
Yeah.
the newer players,
nervous.
it's their first challenge. There's a million cameras.
Yeah.
They probably stressed out the flights, everything else, the not eating, although it hasn't really set in. But, like, that, there is some pressure, like, when you're on camera and you're ready to go and you're trying
That's
to
true.
prove something. That definitely messes up your head.
Yeah, I'm sure if you go back again, or even your second and third times, the camera is like not even there for you.
No, it's not about the camera
Yeah.
Think
anymore.
back to your very first time you ever did a challenge on Survivor. Like,
Kicked ass.
But I mean, like, your heart was pounding. I'm sure you're more nervous
I just
than by
remember
the
Mad
last time you've
Dog.
done it. You know
Oh,
what I
we
mean?
were that was a great challenge. First one in Australia.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
that was go back and watch it. That was
Classic Survivor.
Jerri
Good
just
one.
never tells the truth. She was nervous.
of course, we were all nervous.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was getting myself
Yeah.
into.
So one
I
of
didn't
the-
watch season
yeah.
one until like right before I left.
Yeah, they didn't even have
One of
DVD
those.
players back then.
No, we did. Oh, way back when.
I own, and I remember getting season 1 on VHS, and I still have it.
Yeah, I had it on VHS too.
It's
I
awesome.
still have the original one CBS sent me, like
Oh,
a whole
awesome.
crate of them. I don't know what I'm gonna eBay.
eBay.
Oh, wow. So one of the biggest controversial moments of the night was after the returnees come back from a huge deficit and they win. They celebrated, and one of the people that really celebrated really loudly and made a show was Jervis.
Oh, I was so upset with him, even when he did it, like before the fallout. And I think that this is really what's interesting about this season is that you are literally going to make your family member the spotlight person on the other side based on what you do, no matter what you do.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, that's not fair. But I mean, Jervis, come on, dude. Really, that was ridiculous.
That wasn't smart, obviously.
No, and nobody does that anymore. Like I said, that is so season one.
Yeah. And it was just, and it was, I didn't even think of it like that until it actually went down.
Right.
And you are so excited that you win, and then
But he didn't win.
yeah, he did nothing, and especially because he did nothing, and he played a role in almost making them lose.
Yeah. Right.
And then he's shoving it in the loved
Technically,
one's
his
face.
part of
That's
the
how you do it. That's how you do it. Like
Technically,
that's
his
not.
part of the competition, he lost.
Yes.
You know, that was the water part to the shore. They lost because
Yeah.
of him.
It was bad, and then Colton is crying. So it's the other side of it is Colton brings light to the situation of, oh crap, my fiance now has to go to tribal council. I'm safe.
Yeah,
Right.
why would you even say anything? Keep your damn mouth shut.
I wouldn't have said a word either.
I mean, come on.
But it's just-
Look at me. Oh no, my loved one. Right there. You know which one he is, right? That one right there.
So
Yeah.
Jerri, with your experience, I think it's time to do our little first Jerry's 2 cents little segment. We're making this up as we go along.
we need some sound effects.
So we're gonna have to get some-
Jerry's 2 cents.
Oh,
Yeah,
on the
I called that in
spot.
ahead of time.
Wow,
All right,
we got
Jerry.
great producers here.
Let's get your 2 cents for Jervis. What would you say to Jervis 2 cents?
Well, Jervis, I'm super disappointed in you, dude. That was really unnecessary, and I hope to God you don't continue to do it, although you've already blown your game.
Oh.
And honestly, I did hear that he burned a lot of bridges out there, and I was wondering
Ooh.
exactly what that could mean, and now I guess we all know.
All right, Tina.
Tina, keep rocking it, girl. Super stoked you're back, and I want to see you kick some butt.
Culpepper, the man. I don't what's his
Look out, dude. You stuck your neck out. You stuck your neck out, and you are huge on the chopping block.
Fetus.
Fetus.
Fetus. Fetus. Someone's got a baby in their tummy out there.
my Lord.
Gossip.
I don't know. I'm really excited to see him play, honestly. I like his backstory. He's kind of an underdog just because of what he's been through, but I think that's what makes him so endearing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rachel.
Who?
And that wraps our Jerry's 2 cents.
And Rupert, don't try to build any more shelters.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I love it.
Everybody go back and watch the All-Stars. You'll know what I'm talking about.
I love it. Well, one thing we're excited about here at AfterBuzz is Serial Buddies, which is Maria Menounos' movie that she produced and created, is out on DVD.
It is.
So we
cool.
want to recommend everybody should go buy it at the stores, and it's a great movie, so definitely go watch it. So
Yeah.
I saw a trailer for it.
It's great.
It looks hilarious.
Yeah,
I
so
need to see it.
definitely
Can
go
someone
get it
give
on
me a
DVD.
copy?
These days they're not on VHS like our first season.
$4.99 on iTunes, Jerry.
Ooh,
Oh.
or on iTunes.
We
so-
should talk. We're in it too.
Are you?
No, but we could just say that. Check it out.
All right, so we have the immunity challenge loss, and then
Are you?
yeah, all right. It's great to be back. I have
Jesus
missed this.
Christ. How she made it so far in Survivor, but she was that gullible.
I have missed this, guys. This is awesome.
I told you guys I have blonde roots. They're not showing, are they?
So no, you look great, Jared. All right, so immunity challenge. The loved ones lose. They go back, and it's basically Culpepper who is leading the pack for the men. And at first, when I was watching the episode, I thought this 5-person male alliance is going to backfire. It's getting so much attention. It's that
So
probably is not going to work.
obvious.
It's so obvious. And then we start seeing that all the guys are on board. And I think part of it's because the girls are duds.
Well, I think it's also because there were 5 guys and 4 girls. It's
Yeah.
like the easiest choice. You know, as
Doesn't
much
it
as I
al-
hate it.
It always comes out, even on Big Brother or whatever, all these
Gender.
shows, it's always gender. Like they always just split and say, we need the guys, we're the strongest guys, we're going to win all the challenges, when it never works out that way ever.
Yeah.
Look at the moving company.
Well, look at Survivor One World, for example, when you had that macho male alliance
Wrecked.
within the male group, and it's just when you have all these men who are huge, and just masculine big guys, and they team up, they're just so easy to go after. Which
Right.
one thing I did like that Culpepper said was, he was like, the big threats are not us. They're the John Cochrans. They're
Right.
the Sandras. They're the people who aren't
Fly under the
viewed
radar.
as the physical threats and fly under the radar.
Right.
And it is true in a sense of, what's your definition of a threat? And in Survivor, a lot of times it isn't the biggest person.
right.
It is at first.
It is at first.
Yeah.
But in the bigger picture, it's the gamers who are flying under the radar.
Right.
You know? So the men, they seem like they're going to stick together, and it's the question of which girl to pick off. And Vetus, now I'm not going to think of fetus.
Me
Maybe
too.
that's a good way to remember his name.
Vetus. Every time he actually decides upon himself that, okay, we're going to do this all male alliance. Well, I'm going to keep a good relationship with the women regardless.
But then he lies to all of them.
He didn't lie to all of them. He just lied to Marissa.
Correct.
So he went to the other girls and said, we're going to go after Marissa, Jervis's niece. And the argument was because of Jervis, but in the bigger picture, is it that, or is it they didn't really like her? We don't really know.
Right.
They made it seem like the reason they were going after Marissa, Jervis's niece, was because of how Jervis acted.
She
this-
was
this-
she was bootylicious.
Well, this early in the
gotta get
game,
body.
it's like whoever just stands out even just a tad is the target, so it's not you. So that may put a target on her back. And then, Tina's,
And Tina's daughter,
she would have been
Katie.
next. Otherwise, if it hadn't been for that, then she would have been gone.
So do you think their decision of going after Marissa and Katie obviously was the smart decision, or do you?
I
What do you
think they
think?
should have gone for the weakest. At least pick off somebody who's holding you back in the challenge.
Do you think that would have been Tina's daughter?
I don't know. I couldn't really tell. They were all working together so well, except the puzzle part.
It's hard to tell on a puzzle, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, because
Yeah.
it's just...
Especially if you're nervous. You know,
Right.
it
Especially if
just
there's
kinda-
3 of you doing it. If there's
Yeah.
one person,
Well,
it's
and out
obvious.
of anybody out of the 3 that did it, Katie, Tina's daughter, was the one who froze and didn't do well and was not doing anything and
Right.
basically kind of dead weight in the challenge. So I don't know. And it's one challenge which you'd hate to be voted out of the island just based off that one challenge. Well, that's how the cookie crumbles on
Right.
Survivor.
Especially the first one.
And
Yeah,
I don't know about you,
sucks.
but I'm used to coming off of a season of Big Brother where it's such strong females. This season of Big Brother was defined by strong females. The women on the returning tribe are strong females, but to me, it just seems like the women on the loved one tribes are
Right.
gonna just lie
I
down.
hope
Someone
they-
always surprises us
Hopefully.
later,
Yeah,
so
I hope
hopefully
they
someone will step up.
Who do you
stand
think
out.
would out of those girls left? There's only 3 now.
I think Tina's daughter. I really think. I
Hopefully.
mean, from what I saw in her interview, she has a really good sense of competition, and I don't know. I would like to get to know her better before she gets voted out. I mean, but let's not forget, Marissa did go to Redemption Island, and
Yes.
she is going to compete against
Right.
Candace and Rupert.
And we already see from the promo that Jervis did not switch spots with her because we saw that she was competing in the challenge.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Jervis, you see her going head to head with Rupert and Candace, meaning Jervis, her uncle, decided not to switch spots with her.
Wait, wasn't he the one who at the very beginning said something about slitting her throat?
Well, that's the thing. They, from the beginning, had this dynamic where they were portraying,
so
like,
weird.
I'll go after my uncle, I'll go after my niece, who cares that we're related?
Yeah.
Which clearly it looks like.
Yeah.
But in the I'm thinking, like, if I were on there with my uncle, I love my family, but I don't think I'd switch with my uncle.
No.
You know, I think it's, if my mom, I would have a different.
Especially when you suck at challenges.
Yeah.
Right. You can't swim? No.
Not
Yeah.
a good move to switch, actually.
Yeah, so he doesn't switch. So, you know, the vote was it unanimous against Marissa to go out? I think it was. Everybody but her. She voted for Katie because they
told her.
the first episode we had a blindside. She was blindsided.
I was like, you were not blindsided.
I was like, really? If you're blindsided? I mean,
When she voted, she said it's either me or you.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
it's
not
not a
really a
blindside.
blindside.
How about that look when she was
That was
leaving?
good.
She just did a full turn. I will kill all of you.
Over her booty.
yeah, over her booty.
She's got a nice booty.
Yeah. So it is.
Bam!
Just keep talking about.
But here's
I
the one
know.
thing.
I couldn't help
one
it. It
of
was
the-
like right there. I was
My
like,
Lord.
dang.
Hashtag lesbians.
One of the interesting dynamics that I think about this season now is when your loved one is voted off, how you're going to be perceived by the other tribe, and how, in terms of, I think Candace's husband is in one of the best positions in the game now.
Yeah, totally.
Because his tribe looks at it as, oh, Candace is on redemption, she's not in the other tribe, and the other tribe views as, you know, it's almost like
Not until she's gone, though. If she,
Not until
once
she's
she's
gone.
gone, then her husband becomes, you know,
you become this amazing free agent.
Right.
Yeah,
And
totally.
you become one of the most valuable players in the game.
Which I love that dynamic.
Which is great. And it's
Yeah.
also now, when are we going to start seeing strategy of let's vote off people based off whose loved ones are still in the game?
Ooh.
There's
that's gonna
so
happen.
many elements in
Right.
terms of
I like
the
that.
strategy of let's vote off certain people. And so you have this 5-male alliance. Well, let's say these men make it to a merge or a swap. Then they're going to try and get their loved ones to join. But if their loved ones are in conflicting alliances with members of other loved ones, what do you do?
It's
Right.
going to be chaos and
Because what's the
mayhem.
hard to
biggest,
follow.
What was the biggest thing of Big Brother this year was you have to break up the showmances. Like you can't have, because it's 2 votes against you, like no matter what. So like they're going to be huge targets.
Yeah.
And every year on Survivor, there's always some sort of showmance like, oh, we have to split these up immediately.
Yeah. And obviously,
Ever since Rob and Amber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of the goal is, okay, try and get to your end with a loved one. Realistically,
Not gonna
I'll put
happen.
$1,000 down if someone wants to take this bet with me that it will not happen.
It's not going to happen.
And if you tweet me, Justin F. Walter on Twitter, if you want to, I'll take the first. I don't know if I will take the first person, but if you lose, then you give me $1,000, right?
Yeah.
No one's gonna do this bet. If you want to do it, you have extra money.
He has a gambling
I'll do it with you.
problem.
I'm not a gambler at all, but I'm so certain I don't
You're
feel
a
like
gambler.
I don't
Your
feel like
face
any.
is red. You're a gambler.
I get
Be
red.
very
but,
clear. What is the bet?
okay. Oh my God, am I really doing
Yes.
this?
Yes.
All right, I will put $1,000 on that. If it's a final 2, the two people in the end will not be loved ones.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
It's not going to be a final 2, though.
You think it'll be a final 3?
Always 3 now. There's never 2
We'll
anymore.
see. But I would bet that it will not be loved ones in the end.
Well,
so
if it is a final 3, just so we're clear, too.
no, then it's negated. None of us have
Well
to pay.
then we're just a waste of a segment and a waste of time.
I'm sorry. All right, but I think one of the interesting.
Lame.
I lost my train of thought. Let's get into our new segment, Ryan. We're gonna have a sound effect for this
I
one.
know.
Wait,
we
what is
need
it? What is it officially
What is
called?
it?
Ryan's Twitter tea.
Twitter teeth.
Ryan's Twitter tea.
That was pretty gay. All right.
All right, what is
I think he said
this
Twitter
segment
teeth.
first?
This segment is I go through the night and I just write down people's Twitter, what people are talking about, returning players,
Okay,
people
great.
who played before, and also just some random people in
Let's hear
general.
the best ones.
All right, here was Kat who tweeted, "To smack with the paddle or not to smack with the paddle? That is the question."
Smack with the paddle.
Love that one. Christina Shaw, who'll be here next week,
Yes.
she said, wow, I've already noticed some growth in Colton. proud of your breakthroughs, which he replied, that means the most coming from you. Remember, he told her to jump into the fire. So
Oh,
that was
that's
a good
right.
We'll
They
have
had.
to get some info
I don't see
from
any
Christina.
growth, Colton.
No growths. All right, Russell Hance, your favorite. He said, Survivor was a cry fest. And Kat said, oh, hello to you too. Which, did she even cry?
No.
She's always trying
No,
to jump in.
she did not cry. She wasn't even really. She didn't get much airtime last night.
Funny one from Malcolm, who always is funny on Twitter. He says, Colton needs to read tree mail every time.
Why? So we can get better at reading.
No, because he sounded like
He was pretty bad at reading.
he really sounded like a host or something, but like a bad host. Malcolm, watching Candace stuck with Rupert makes me almost appreciate only being stuck with Philip. Almost.
Oh, zing!
Wait,
oh
that
my
was
God.
Malcolm?
Speaking of Zing, the Zing bot
love you,
tweeted about
Malcolm.
Survivor
Zingbot
last night.
see, now that Hayden is in Survivor, there's
Tons
the
of chatter,
crossover with
tons
Big
of chatter
Brother.
with Hayden because obviously he's a crossover and he has a huge fan base. But the Zingbot tweeted. Do you even know what Zingbot is?
Not a clue. What is
For
it?
Survivor fans.
Yeah, Zingbot is the robot from Big Brother that comes in and like jives with the cast and says
It
ridiculous
zings
things.
you. It's hysterical. We'll have to come up with something
Boy,
for
they're really
Survivor.
trying to make people watch, aren't they?
Zingbot said, retweet if you like Colton's fiance more than Colton.
How many retweets were there?
That's a lot of
I didn't
retweets.
Scoopin had one that said, Survivor is always very emotional. Colton is the new Dawn.
No.
But only from a tears perspective. And then he said, just playing.
Oh, no, yeah,
gosh.
don't even put those two in the same sentence.
This is from a fan, Reagan Fox, at Reagan Fox. It says, you're going on Survivor for the second time and swimming lessons weren't a consideration?
Thank you.
WTF.
Oh, Jervis.
I love it.
We got
Jervis.
Parvati Shallow, at Parvati Shallow said, poor Candace, being stranded on the island alone with Rupert. Welcome to my nightmare.
With Jerry's
No,
nightmare too.
It was her nightmare already once, and it's happening again. She's
Gosh.
like having the recurring nightmare.
Rob Serena had a funny one too. He says, I like Monica, Tina, and Laura puzzle team.
Yeah.
They are like the Real Housewives of Survivor.
Love it.
And then
That's a good one.
couple more. We have Earl Cole, and at Earl Cole says, blood is thicker than water, but money is the root of all evil. It's all just liquid with $1 million on the line.
Oh.
And he's a former winner.
He is a former winner, so maybe he
Earl.
should donate all that money to charity. And Sherry from, was she last season?
Yes.
I love
Love her,
Sherry.
yeah.
Big
That-
fan. One of the only fans in the fans versus
She
favorites.
was, and she was portrayed completely different than how she is in
Yeah.
real life.
I
She's cool.
agree with her statement here.
You can't read my statement before I say it,
That's what you
Jerry.
get for sitting next to me.
She just, oh, I love that. The viewers.
that
don't
one
even
right
know.
there. Read that one.
Best line of the night. Oh hell no. Go Cat.
I love it. I love it.
And
That's
then
awesome.
I did get one read from somebody. Let me just point him
Ooh,
out.
what's that?
I don't even know how do you say this. At Parnitz Burger. What
Parsnip burger.
the hell kind of
At
Twitter thing
Parsnip
is that?
Burger.
It says Ryan and Russell. You get around, don't you, Ryan? Supporting racists like Colton to now bullies. Fine ally you are.
Whoa.
Fuck you.
Oh, gee.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Well, we'll bleep that out.
So much for G-rated
if-
around here.
You should tweet us at ABTV Survivor, and maybe you can
Was
get
that
in.
hard for you?
It was hard for me
drunk?
because it was hard for me because I was thinking of AfterBuzz TV, and that's why it's ABTV Survivor. So tweet us, and then hopefully we'll get our fans in Ryan's Twitter tea.
Twitter tea.
Be a part of the Twitter
Be
tea.
a part of it. So, do you have any gossip in terms of this cast or this episode or this season, Ryan?
Without spoiling
we,
them,
without we do
obviously.
not spoil on this podcast.
Never.
We do not.
I do not want to hear hear any spoilers.
I don't know
this season.
jack about what happened except one thing, and that's it.
I know one thing too.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear anything the fans don't want to hear. We're not going to spoil. But
No.
any gossip related to the cast that you know of or anything going on?
Nothing yet, but I would say that when we were in Orlando for the Give Kids the World
For the charity.
thing, a lot of the Survivor cast was there, and definitely some of the animosity from this season has carried on over to
Ooh.
real life.
Wow.
Like they're not all this cohesive group. Like One World when they all came out, they all love each other and everything else. So like there's definitely some issues obviously happen during the season that we're gonna see, and
They were fresh out though.
yeah.
Everything's really raw.
Emotions are running high.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Some of them are still not even speaking. I do know
Wow,
that.
so it's going to be intense.
I don't doubt that. I mean, because we saw them in Temecula before they left, and then
Oh, you
in
did?
Orlando when they all came back.
So you guys saw them. You saw them before and after.
Yeah.
Wow.
And before it was, you could tell people were already running around making alliances.
See, I hate
So
that.
annoying.
Yeah, because some people approached me thinking I was going to be on it.
Oh,
They were like,
really?
we need to talk. And I'm
You
like,
should have just
you
said
tell
you
us who?
were.
no, all I did was say, you're right, we should talk. That's what I
Who
said.
approached you?
Cat.
She did. She's going to
Yeah.
work it. She's going to work it.
Yeah, because I was like, what's going on? And then I put, being blonde.
Yeah.
Rooted again. I was
love
like,
it.
oh my God, like she wants to talk to me.
Oh my gosh.
Then
Oh
again,
my God.
Jerry was drinking quite heavily at that party, though.
No, I wasn't. In Temecula?
I'm just kidding.
No.
We were at a winery.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Not this year.
Well, we need a sound effects here. I'm going to do my move of the week.
Wait.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I want to know. You went to a premiere party last night, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I
Okay.
No.
I
I'm
was-
going to in Hollywood tonight in West Hollywood. You have a
Yes.
Big Brother
Brother.
after party. $50 per person. That's the best $50 I'm going to spend.
WantTickets.com.
$50.
It's going to a
Yes,
good
the
cause.
cast. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to the cast?
No. No.
But clearly there's expenses. I have to get hotel rooms for them and everything else. We want to have a great party.
It's going to be fun.
Pass out
I
shots.
sent you how many people? Like 30 people, Big Brother fans that
Yes.
are going to come. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be wild.
Move of the week sound effects. Move of the week.
That sounded scandalous.
Yeah, it's going to be scandalous. All right, my move of the week.
Was there one?
Yeah, my move of the week goes to, I've already talked about it. I'll have to come up with better ones later on. Is to the Cougars, my 3 Cougars, who won the immunity challenge. You get my move of the week. So
Move of the
Tina, Laura, and Monica, congrats for that. So prediction, guys. Let's get into predictions.
And we need a round of applause effect.
It wasn't a good one. I'm gonna have to change that segment.
Yeah, we're still fine
We're still
tuning.
fine-tuning our new segments.
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh, I like
Wow.
that. The lights are cool. They're flickering right
I
now.
love it.
So let's do this. Let's do
Can
predictions.
we play a drinking game too?
We should.
We
we'll
should.
incorporate
Because people are going to be
something in that.
watching at 11 or 12 at night.
On a Wednesday night is the perfect night to get drunk
Hammered.
on hump day. Get hammered on hump day.
Yeah, anytime.
So let's do a prediction on who we think is going to go next or anything.
next.
And then also, let's just all, I think it'd be good, our first episode, we don't know spoilers, who you think is going to win this season. All right? So who wants to go first?
I'm going to refrain from saying who gets voted off first because I actually know.
Oh, you know. Oh, it's
That's
actually.
the one thing I do know.
Oh, there's so many things. Is it it's either who gets eliminated first or who gets voted off?
Right, it's already confusing for us.
No, okay. So
yeah, how does that work?
I guess we'd have to predict who
leaving the
loses
tribe?
Redemption
Who's
Island.
leaving the tribe?
Who's leaving the tribe and who's leaving
And
Redemption
then-
Island? Oh my God.
I think. Well, I don't
hate
want to.
Redemption
I don't want to say.
Okay, don't
yeah.
spoil it. Who do you
Yeah.
think's gonna win this season, Jerry? Your early round pick.
Yay. Man, I just way so early to pick. I have a hard time with this stuff. I really do.
I'll give you time to think. I know.
Yeah.
I think Fetus Vetus is gonna win. I think Aris's brother is gonna bring a title home to the family. They're gonna have the brothers who are gonna be 2 Survivor winners.
And then they'll be on The Amazing Race.
And then they'll be on The Amazing Race, and they'll be living my lifelong dreams.
Yeah. While you're here still
And then they're
crying with
gonna go
us.
on Big Brother, and then the mole's gonna come back, and they're
Yeah.
gonna be on the mole, and I'm just going to have to check myself into a rehab facility.
completely. Which he could relate to.
Oh,
Too soon? Too
yeah,
soon.
too soon. Well,
My vote's
No,
for
it's-
Fetus too.
Really?
Yeah,
Fetus.
I think that he has, because he like spilled his tea, not Twitter tea, but spilled his tea. Like, remember they even talked about it, like what him telling everything, it doesn't make him look weak, which I agree with you. It just opens him up to everybody. He is the talker. He's running around getting crazy. Is there a dog getting
There's
crazy?
a dog. Dog, shut up!
I'm trying to speak.
oh, Sparky.
Well, one thing too about him, there was a moment already in this first episode where he's sitting there, the sun is setting, and I was like, this is almost like a hero moment already.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're already setting this guy up for a big win.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna go far for sure.
Very
I
far.
think so too. I think so too. And Candace.
So let's talk about as a returning player, which returning player Jerry has the best odds of winning this season?
That's a better question.
Which
yeah.
returning player?
Who's on it? I don't even remember.
Aris, Kat, Monica.
Tina, Colton, Laura.
I'm gonna say Tina.
All right. So we're picking a lot of former winners. So we are so excited to be back for Survivor Blood vs. Water Season 27. Thank you guys for joining in. Let's get our Twitter and Facebook info out.
At Jerri Manthy, and you can go to jerrymanthy.com for all things Jerry.
Great.
The tail's hitting me. Literally. My Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram is Ryan A. Carrillo, Carrillo. And on Facebook, it's Ryan Allen Carrillo.
I encourage you to Snapchat him.
I love Snapchat.
Wow. And my Twitter Twitter is Justin F. Walter, and you can check out everything JustinWalter.com.
Justin is not as innocent as he seems, people.
I do not do Snapchat.
I will spill Justin's tea.
Oh, all right.
Snatch chat.
Thank you, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.